I grew up with PBS most of my childhood. My two all-time favorite PBS Kids shows from my childhood are Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and Sesame Street, which I've done a lot of different fan art of. And I also love other PBS shows like Shining Time Station, The Puzzle Place, some of the non-kids shows. My favorites are The Joy of Painting with Bob Ross, Nova, and Scientific American Frontiers. So naturally, since I even love the PBS logo, and naturally, with my love of those different PBS shows and all that stuff, naturally, I was a little disheartened when I heard that PBS was getting defunded earlier this year. And like a lot of people who grew up with PBS, I was upset. So a lot of my more recent PBS related fan art has had the hashtag Save PBS on them, and a lot of them are pretty unique, including the one we're about to talk about today. This beautiful, made up PBS logo sort of fan art. Now, if you look all over YouTube, it's definitely not the least bit uncommon to hear of people making up fake PBS logos or parodies of PBS logos that already exist. The PBS P head logo is definitely one of the most iconic logo designs ever. It was one of the very first logos I was ever introduced to when I was a kid, and I've always been obsessed with the different variations of the PBS logo. And you can find all over YouTube, there are many, many different parodies and sort of school projects here and there involving different ways the PBS logo is represented. And I've I've always liked drawing the PBS logo even from the time I was a little boy. So it fascinates me that we have people who are interested in the PBS logo and think it's fun to parody and stuff. This picture is kind of hard to explain. It's actually based off a dream I had of the PBS logo when I was about 8 years old, I think. Many, many years ago, back in early 2004, I remember having a weird dream about a fake Sesame Street promo that was followed by a fake PBS ident that was sort of a parody of the old 1998 Lyric Studios logo. You know, that one with the duckling at the beginning and the very pretty orchestra music. A finger pops out and makes a sound wave that makes the Lyric Studios logo appear. Well, I had a dream like that, only instead of the Lyric Studios logo, the finger made the PBSP head logo, the normal PBSP head logo, the one that we see all the time that's facing the right and has the split profile. Uh, I dreamt that that made a random appearance as well as the PBS text next to it. And I drew a cheesy cartoon illustration of what that looked like sometime back in 2020. I think it's still on my YouTube channel, as a matter of fact. The original 2020 version with the regular PBS logo. But this is the 2025 variant where I switched it up a bit. This one has a P head outline facing the left, just like the classic PBS P head logo. And of course, it has the hashtag SavePBS because this was made in 2025, shortly after PBS was defunded. I think I drew this sometime back in August or September 2025. And just like the one I made back in 2020, which I'm sure I'll do a pic overview on someday, but I can't find it at the moment. The original 2020 drawing, that was drawn on blue construction paper. This one is drawn on cardstock. It's sort of a purplish gray cardstock, sort of a violet gray cardstock. Clouds were drawn with oil pastels and everything. Kind of gives for a beautiful, vivid sort of look, if you will. Yeah, they both were drawn on different mediums. They were not drawn on white regular white paper. The 2020 picture was drawn on blue construction paper. This one was drawn on violetish gray cardstock. And I'm very proud of this picture. Again, I love PBS. I am disheartened that PBS is defunded and hope that gets reversed pretty soon. And sometime I may try to do pic overviews of some of my PBS show fan art, especially the Mr. Rogers and Sesame Street fan art, if it's possible. But anyways, thanks for viewing, and save PBS and protect public media.